Hey everyone, it's Luke. I am not your host for the evening. I just wanted to kick off our first ever Bleacher Brawls Pendulum Roundtable by explaining what it's all about. This show is being released simultaneously wherever you get your podcasts and on our YouTube channel because the pendulum is a visual element that you'll have to see for yourself with your own eyes. Here at Bleacher Brawls, we consider ourselves the official voice of the rivalry between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Our primary function is to analyze and interpret the state of the rivalry for our listeners. So moving on, the pendulum will be our official position of where the rivalry stands at any given point in time. It's a single image that tells you which team has the big picture advantage at the time. Think of the doomsday clock, the world's unofficial countdown to Armageddon, but with a more pleasant touch. And while the doomsday clock, I almost called it the Bloomsday clock, Freudian slip. The doomsday clock is only set once per year. Our whole Bleacher Brawls crew is going to gather together at various points every season for these pendulum roundtables to determine if and how the pendulum should be adjusted. Winning a series or two during the regular season won't be enough to swing the pendulum in one direction or the other. The pendulum encompasses which team is better constructed, which team's closer to winning a World Series, and which team has a better chance at long-term success. Today is our first pendulum roundtable where we'll discuss every facet of the game from each team's perspective, determine which team holds the edge in each facet, and finally set and unveil the pendulum for the very first time. If you're listening to this wherever you get your podcast, make sure to check out this show on our YouTube channel as well, so you can see the actual pendulum and truly understand for the first time in your life the official state of this 100-plus-year-old rivalry through the eyes of Bleacher Brawls, the official sages of the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry. After the show, you'll find the pendulum on our website at bleacherbrawls.com, on our social media feeds, and wherever else you can find our content to remind you of the official condition of the greatest rivalry in professional sports. So without further ado, I'll shut up for a bit so we can get this thing started. Here's our real host for the night, Patrick. Take it away, Pat.
Thanks, Luke. Let's jump in right into it. Okay, we're gonna go around this table here, around this Zoom. If you're looking at us on YouTube, you're gonna hear our voices. If you're listening wherever you listen to your podcast, and we're gonna go around the table, this round table, and one by one, kind of explain different facets of the game. Everybody's assigned a different sort of facet of the game, and they're gonna get the chance to do their little spiel about where they think that particular aspect stands in terms of the rivalry. We'll all pitch in quickly, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, everybody's going to get their chance here. We're going to start with John, and John's first topic of the evening is the front office. Okay, you've got Brian Cashman, who's been there for a long, long time in New York, and Chaim Bloom, who is, of course, a very controversial figure in the past couple of years in Red Sox history. So, John, take it away.
All right. Yeah, I'm here to talk about the front office, and I'll start with the Yankees because let's face it, they're the more important of the two teams. Brian Cashman has complete authority over baseball operations for the Yankees. Hal Steinbrenner has nothing to do with it. Hal Steinbrenner is not his dad. He's the money guy, and for Yankee fans to boo him, you're booing the wrong guy. You should be booing Brian Cashman. So where do we stand in the rivalry as far as Brian Cashman and faith in Brian Cashman? Personally, I don't have a ton of faith in Brian Cashman. The man is not responsible for 1998 through 2000. I know he was technically the general manager, but he didn't put those teams together. Really, Brian Cashman fell into 2009 when the Yankees signed 3 big free agents and still had 4 of the core 5. Brian Cashman fell into a World Series, and he should have won a lot more for the Yankees over this time. He's makes some good roster moves on occasion. You know, he's really good at putting together a bullpen. Every now and then he'll find a diamond in the rough, like a Luke Voigt, who comes in and plays really well for a short period of time before Cashman hangs on to him for too long, and then holds on for him too long and doesn't trade him away in time to get any kind of value for him. He makes a lot of bad roster moves, and because he's stubborn. He's trying to prove that he's the smartest person in the room. A couple years ago in the playoffs, the Yankees started Davy Garcia as an opener, moved to Jay Happ, who did not want to come in the second inning, who wanted to start the game. And it was a complete disaster. Yankees didn't need to do that. They're trying to be the smartest team in the room, and it didn't work. And there's a lot of signs of this. Brian Cashman brings in a lot of players that can't handle New York, guys like Michael Pineda, Sonny Gray, Joey Gallo. And then you will see players that can handle New York that actually can play here, guys like Didi Gregorius, Miguel Andujar. I mean, honestly, Davey Garcia, in his brief stint with the Yankees, looked really good in New York. And another guy, I mean, wouldn't you rather have Rougned Odor over Marwin Gonzalez in 2022? I mean, Rugi had his leadership, and I mean, Doug, from the Orioles perspective, will tell you how important Rougned Odor was in that Orioles clubhouse. Yankees could have brought him back, and he would have been in a great position. But Brian Cashman always has to do things his way. Like I said, he holds on to prospects for too long. There's a period where he could have traded Jabba Chamberlain and Phil Hughes for Roy Halladay, and it didn't. He decided that was giving up too much for Roy Halladay. There's a time where he could, in 2019, he could have traded Miguel Andujar and Clint Frazier for Garrett Cole, preventing Garrett Cole from going to the Astros. He didn't. He hung on to those guys, and in the long term got nothing for him. Or he'll do something stupid like hang on to Gary Sanchez and like, well, I need to trade him. I need to get something of value for him instead of just non-tendering him and letting him walk. And then you end up making a disastrous trade that blows up in your face, and he looks bad, like he got outsmarted by the Minnesota Twins. Additionally, he doesn't have good tact. He doesn't have good tact when it comes to the players. I mean, he bombed the Derek Jeter negotiations. I mean, the story goes that Derek Jeter said he wanted to stay with the Yankees, and Brian Cashman was giving him a hard time over money. And Jeter says something like, well, who would you rather have? And Brian Cashman goes on to proceed to start listing shortstops that he would rather have. Like, that was terrible. Earlier in the season, Aaron Judge, who is a private guy who wanted to keep negotiations private, when the Yankees did not re-sign Aaron Judge prior to the 2022 season, instead of just keeping it quiet, Brian Cashman went and leaked the contract offer, which Aaron Judge wasn't cool with. Aaron Judge has not re-signed with the Yankees yet. And if he took that personally and holds that against Brian Cashman, like, that's a massive mistake on this guy. All in all, I don't have any faith in Brian Cashman. Now let's go look at the Red Sox. Should the Red Sox fans have faith in Chaim Bloom? I know guys like Luke over here have a ton of faith in Chaim Bloom, but I don't know why. I mean, he's Das Wonder Kid, right? But let's be honest. Every team has or nearly every team anyway, has an analytics whiz in their front office. So really, what makes him different? Does he have a winning legacy? Like, no, he doesn't. Like, Chaim Bloom was the number 2 guy. He was with the Tampa Bay Rays for a while, but really was the number 2 guy for 3 years, and that was it. Tampa Bay Rays did not win a World Series during that time. Some guys are better suited as number 2s, as our good friend Silvio Dante once said. All in all, he's made some questionable moves. In this very short tenure, he's made some very questionable moves that I think a lot of these guys here will tell you, like, maybe they could have gotten something better in return for maybe that Hunter Renfroe deal or the Andrew Benintendi deal. And some of these guys really hold that against them, and they should, because a lot of these moves seem very, very Cashman-esque. I think Red Sox fans got spoiled. Look, they had Theo Epstein, who was directly responsible for 2 World Series. His fingerprints were all over a third. Dave Dombrowski came in and went all in, and some of those key pieces actually still were Theo Epstein legacy pieces. So now, after the Dombrowski fire sale, the Red Sox got their 4 World Series. Their front office over the years has done what they needed to do, but now they're in a position where they have to rebuild. And in the Red Sox history, they've rebuilt one time. Like, Theo Epstein rebuilt this franchise, and it's never happened leading up to that. And I don't know if it's going to happen again, because Chaim Bloom doesn't have that legacy, that resume. He's had the questionable decisions. All in all, I just think Red Sox fans that believe in Chaim Bloom right now, like the way Luke does, they're just spoiled fans. They forgot how hard it is to win, and they're banking on this guy who has 0 wins in his career, like not even just as a general manager, even as a scout working for the Rays. And you're expecting him to come in and do what 2 Hall of Fame general managers had done previously. That's a really hard thing to do. And I don't know if he's ready to live up to the task. All in all, if I'm looking at this, the pendulum is right in the middle. I don't have faith in either of these front offices at all. So as far as I'm concerned, we're looking right there in the middle for this one.
I'm going to let, as John spoke on some of the Yankees perspective, I'm going to let some of the Red Sox guys talk about the Red Sox perspective on this one. I know that both Doug and Derek have opposing views when it comes to the Chaim Bloom era so far and what he's been doing in the front office. So I'm giving each of them like 30 seconds, nice and quick, to throw in your thoughts on the Red Sox side of things. Doug, I'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey guys, so in my opinion, Chaim Bloom is like half in and half out. It's like he cares halfway and then he doesn't care halfway. He's made some very good signings with batters. I think Story is going to be a great piece for the future. Kike was and still is incredible, but he is quick. He is messing up the pitching, and I'll get more into that during segment 3. But I think Bloom is going to be fired after this year. Again, from call your shot segment later, you'll hear that from me. But I think he is going to make a move this offseason that is really going to lose every single Red Sox fan and get his ass fired this year.
Derek, same amount of time.
For me with Chaim Bloom, I think it's simple as this. When the Red Sox hired Chaim Bloom, they knew what they were getting and they knew what they wanted. They wanted a guy to build a team from within. I think part of this has to do with ownership, which I'm not going to get into. That's take forever to get into, and that's a totally different time to get all into that. But I think the ownership looked at Chaim Bloom and said, this is what we want. And well, I'll get to it later when I talk about the prospects and all that and where the prospect situation lies. But Chaim Bloom has done a good job at what he specializes in, which is bringing in talent, developing talent, especially from the minor leagues, getting them up to the big leagues. Obviously, there's still a time to go to get there. You can't fully judge Chaim Bloom right now because a lot of what he has done hasn't even gotten close to the big leagues yet. But I don't see any world he gets fired because I think for what the Red Sox want, and I think the ownership wants them to build within and not have to spend in free agency like 10-year deals all over the place. I mean, there's only so much you can get with that at times, and we've seen it with the Rays recently. You can only get so far with that until you have to start spending money. So how it ends up, I don't know, but I think all in all, I mean, the overall, as the unbiased scale of grading Chaim Bloom, I think there's no answer yet.
Great. Thanks, guys. We're going to move on now to our managers, Aaron Boone and Alex Cora. Similarly tenured guys, both former players of their respective teams, both have similar playoff track records in terms of wins and how far they've gotten their teams. So I'm going to go to Kasim on this one, and I want to hear a little bit about your thoughts on which manager you feel like gives that team the edge here in this category.
Hey guys, sorry. For the manager position, well, I spoke on this before. I'm not an Aaron Boone fan. Alex Cora is a much better manager. He showed it when he came to the Red Sox. He took them to a World Series. He got suspended, came back, did a very good job. Red Sox won the World Series when he came back. Am I right? No.
No. ALCS.
ALCS. Okay, so he took him to the ALCS.
It was World Series in his first year, ALCS in his year back.
Alex Cora is a much better manager when it comes to, for the playoffs. He's very good in depth. He knows what he do. He presses the right buttons. Unlike Aaron Boone, he's a good regular season manager. I mean, that's fine if the Yankee fans want to look at that, but playoff, I don't trust him. His game management is bad. He costs you games. His management of the bullpen, it's horrendous. It hurts. It hurts the Yankees. It showed this year. It showed in the previous. I have nothing much to say, but I think Alex Cora is a very good manager. I don't want to hear about the cheating scandal or anything like that. It's over with. Alex Cora is a very good manager. He showed it. They gave him a chance at redemption. He took him to the ALCS. It's a no-brainer. Alex Cora is a much better manager.
Barnes, I'm coming to you next because Cassim, one of your fellow Yankees fans, has given the edge here to the Red Sox manager, Alex Cora, and I want to hear your response.
A no-brainer that Alex Cora is better? What? That should be a sound clip within itself. I want it to be everyone's ringtone when you get a message from me. Here's the thing. I'm not a huge Aaron Boone guy because how hard is it to manage something off of a piece of paper? I feel like I could do a pretty good job like Aaron Boone. And you know what? Aaron Boone is, he's not winning the World Series, but he's getting to the ALCS pretty much every time. He's losing to the same team every time, but that team is pretty freaking good. They're pretty good. I don't know if you guys have been there. But here's the thing, and Doug has mentioned it on the podcast before. Feel free to check out our older episodes that are archived or just scroll back. Alex Cora can't manage a bullpen. You need to manage a bullpen to get you through a season, to get you through the playoffs, which the Red Sox can't get to. They won't get to. And that's why Bloom's going to get fired, just like Doug said. I think Aaron Boone does an excellent job of managing the clubhouse because he just does what his bosses tell him to do. So naturally, he's pretty good. He's not great. But he's not bad. I think it's more even than maybe Cassim says.
Doug, I know you wanna talk here, so I'll give you a few seconds to pipe in.
Yeah. So my issue with Cora is, Barnes hit it on the head. He doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. Sometimes he just throws guys in and has no idea. But it is Bloom's fault that he doesn't give Cora the people to use. Also, Cora does not hold anyone accountable. That is my issue with it. Especially this last year, he's failed to hold the whole team accountable and try and raise a player leader in the clubhouse.
Luke, I'll let you wrap this one up.
So I disagree on that. I think on the bullpen aspect, I think Cora does a great job managing the bullpen. Bloom hasn't gotten him the best bullpen guys. I think in 2021, he had a really good bullpen, had a couple of nasty injuries right at the end of the year, couldn't really work around it and couldn't get past the Astros. But you want to talk about bullpen management, go back to Cora's first year with the Red Sox, 2018, when Dave Dombrowski, a far worse general manager than Chaim Bloom could ever be, assembled an amazing Red Sox team, but just had a bunch of guys who could throw 95 and an average curveball, had no setup guy, but it took Alex Cora being so smart and ahead of the curve to just say, hey, I'm just going to take the starting pitcher scheduled for 2 days from now, or the starting pitcher that pitched 2 days ago, and just have him pitch the eighth. That bridged the gap to Craig Kimbrell. They don't win the 2018 World Series without Alex Cora's ingenuity and his great mind for on-field management. He's the best manager the Red Sox have ever had. That's better than Terry Francona, because Terry Francona has always been a bad on-field in-game manager. That's right, I said it. And I love Tito. The Red Sox won the 2 World Series with him, but he made some head-scratching moves virtually every day. And everyone remember what happened, how 2011 ended.
The guy who just won Manager of the Year with the Indians.
Yeah, I can't listen to any more of this. So we're gonna move
Guardians. We're not getting
it.
canceled. We're not getting canceled.
Oh yeah, the Guardians. We're gonna move on now to segment 3, the starting pitchers. Doug, we're going back to you here. Once again, I want you to take this and I want you to comment on which side you feel like has the advantage here as of right now. Obviously, we get into some of these player categories that are our next couple. Things can happen in this next offseason, but we're doing it now, right? We're doing it before a lot of moves have happened in the offseason. The state of things right now, which team do you feel has the better advantage?
Yeah, the Yankees are like full swing, 100% advantage Yankees here. There's not even a question. Literally the only person on the Red Sox team right now who was a starter and pitched any semblance of innings last year was Nick Pivetta, and he pitched to a 4.56 ERA. So at the end of last year, it was Pivetta, Waka, Hill, Bayo, and Evaldi. If he was back, I don't even remember. After that, right? So then the season ends, right? and you lose Waka. Who cares if you lose Hill? Evaldi's gone, right? So if you're trying to patch this within, you're going to put Pavetta out there next year. Pavetta is your game one starter right now. If the season were to start tomorrow, Pavetta is the game one, first game of the season starter right now. I have Pat shaking his head. I have Derek shaking his head no. And Pavetta is your game one starter right now. And Bayo is maybe number two. Internal options, you have Paxton and Sale, who haven't pitched in 2 years. Hauk, who's and Whitlock, the organization doesn't know if they're starters or relievers. They're playing do this today, do this tomorrow. You don't have a set role in here. So you legit have to go out and get at least two. Like, there's no ace. That's the issue, is there is no ace. There's no ace. And that hurts. So you have to go out and find two guys right now this offseason who are at least number threes, because I doubt Bloom is going to go out and find anything better than a number three, because he thinks he could fill this from within. It's a mess. It is a mess until we see who there's only three big guys out there. There's only four, maybe. So you have Verlander, DeGrom, and Rodon, right? And then Bassett, maybe a number four, and Clevenger's off the board, but he fell off the face of the earth, as did Manaea, right? So Bloom this year is going to go and he's going to scrape the bottom of the barrel and try to find these same guys like Hill to put in a rotation, and it's just going to be bad. You look on the other side, the Yankees, they're set up so well. You have your ace, Garrett Cole. You have a number two with high side number one stuff in Severino. Cortez is a number three. Montes could be a number two, and Tyone, right? And then you have Herman waiting, and I don't even know if they have any pitching prospects coming up, but you don't need them for this year. Your rotation is already set. Cashman has to do nothing to solidify a starting rotation, but I have faith in him that he would go out and try and find a number, one of those three guys who I just mentioned to come in, and then you bump someone out. And that would just be an upgrade. So, so long story short, 100% Yankees here. They have their number one. They have 2, 3, 4, 5 all filled. No questions asked right now. Season could start tomorrow. They'd be good to go. Where the Red Sox are going to jump through hoops to put 1 through 5 out there. Derek's wishing against against the Red Sox right now. That's really cool.
I'm gonna. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. 100%.
Okay, cool.
Momentum Yankees, at least for the next 2-3 years.
I'm going to go to Luke next. I know he's going to disagree, and then I want to quickly hear from one of the Yankees guys. Those guys can figure out which one of them wants to pipe in on this one.
I'm actually not going to disagree on the overall assessment. The Yankees starting rotation 1 to 5 looks a hell of a lot better than the Red Sox does. I don't think Chaim Bloom is looking to build a starting rotation 1 through 5. I think it's the Tampa Bay style of building a pitching staff. It's you gather as many starting guys who can play starting pitcher as you can on your big league team and your AAA team, and you I get 10 guys who can be starting pitchers, then we'll cobble together enough innings to get through a 162 game season. I think that's why you haven't seen him sign a big name guy, a big ace pitcher or whatever. And I think that is a smart way to try and get through the regular season. But the problem is you don't win in the playoffs that way. And that's the big problem. So unless you do go out and get a number one, at least number two bona fide starter, then you feel like you're always going to run into this wall. in the playoffs. The problem is, look at all of the top starting pitchers that are available. Every single one of them has a really doubtful injury history, and that includes Nate Eovaldi if the Red Sox bring Eovaldi back. So unless you're making a trade for prospects, then you're not going to find the solution to that, oh, I need an ace issue on the free agent market.
Asman, I'll let you wrap this one up from the Yankee fan perspective.
All right. I mean, for the Yankees, the rotation, yeah, it's an advantage over the Red Sox, but they're stacked and everything, but it's not a championship caliber rotation. The Yankees still have to go get that one more piece behind Cole. Montage showed he's not the person. I mean, we can't judge him. Nestor Cortez did well. Severino did well. Tyone, hopefully he comes back to resign. He did well. They need that one more piece. That one more piece. Is it going to be Verlander? No. Is it going to be DeGrom? No. Could it be Rondon? Maybe. But I'm not giving them big money either. So they got to find something. For me, I mean, I said it before in this. I believe that guy is Corbin Burns. They got to figure out a way to get him, because I don't believe they're going to land Verlander, DeGrom, and I'm not giving Rondon money. So it's Corbin Burns or Brandon Woodruff. These are the two guys, one of the two guys I'm looking at.
Great. Thanks for that. We're going to move on now to the offense. We'll come back to the rest of the pitching staff in a minute. We're going to move on over to the offense. Barnes, I'm going to start with you on this one. Once again, same opening question, Yankees versus Red Sox. Which way do you think the pendulum favors? However, a really interesting dilemma for the Yankees right now, because the 2022 American League MVP is not currently a member of the New York Yankees and is not right now setting this in the beginning of December, end of November. He is not a part of that conversation. So I want to hear what you're thinking.
Hell yeah. So here we are. We're talking about the thing that everyone wants to see when you're at a game. Everyone talks about offense. Like, no one is like, oh yeah, you know what really fires me up? Watching a no-hitter. That really gets me going. No. You want to see home runs. You want to see grand slams. You want to see doubles. You want to see runs. And if we, like Patrick just said, huge thing looming in the air as of this recording, Aaron Judge is AL MVP. I'm gonna let that sink in real quick. Is not on the Yankees right now, and that's going to be a huge problem. So as of this moment, I actually think that it's pretty even between the Yankees and the Red Sox. Aaron Judge was a huge part of the Yankees offense in 2022, which was just stellar. If you look at the team stats, like the Yankees had 807 runs to the Red Sox 735. If you look at RBIs, the Yankees had 764 RBIs. The Red Sox had 704. But if you look at Aaron Judge, who had 131 RBIs, which was like around 17% of the Yankees RBI total, that leaves the Yankees with 633. If you replace him with just like a regular, like an above average guy, like who's going to put up 60 RBIs, they still have less RBIs than the Red Sox. So it's really hard for me to say like, oh man, the Yankees are way outright better offense. Now, if the Yankees do re-sign Aaron Judge, I say that the pendulum is in the Yankees' favor. Not a whole lot. I think that the edge definitely goes over there. Devers is not a slouch. Bogey's not a slouch. Now that Bogey's like, he's back on the Red Sox because, he was like, oh, he should probably, right? Bogey's back. Is he finally back? No, he's not back. Oh, because guess what? He's a freaking bum. He's going to try and go somewhere else, but who cares? No matter, like, let's be real. Bogarts hits for average. If you bring him back, like he's on the down, like, swing of his career. Like, he's not posting up those big numbers anymore. He won't post those numbers up anymore. If he goes back to Boston, if he doesn't go back to Boston, who cares? But if Aaron Judge doesn't go back to the Yankees, you're missing out on a historical hitter. 62 home runs in a season, 311 batting average this past year. He's not, he ain't no scrub. We don't want no scrubs. Let's not get canceled. Don't play the song clip there. But I give the edge to the Yankees here.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because both teams have really huge contracts kind of looming right now, right? Will Aaron Judge return? Will Xander Bogaerts return? And, the Red Sox also have Rafi Devers, who's only got one more year on his time with the Red Sox as of right now. And so a lot of this conversation is built around pieces that might not even be here the next time we have this conversation. So yeah, it's definitely really interesting to see how it is right now, knowing what could be coming. Kasim, I will let you have the final thought on this one, the offense between the two teams.
I got to disagree with Barnes. I don't think it's close. I think the Yankees have a big advantage, to be honest with you. I really do. I don't see, if I look at Boston's offense besides Devers, I'm not scared of anyone else, to be honest. I think Yankees top to bottom. Okay, there might be a few weaknesses, maybe catcher position, if you want to count Donaldson because he had a down year. But if Donaldson's on, I think the offense is way bigger than what everybody thinks probably here, and I think the Yankees got a way bigger advantage. I don't think it's even close.
Cool, thank you for that. Luke, I'll head to you next for the bullpen, the relief pitching. You touched a little bit earlier on the construction of the bullpen for the Red Sox. But I want to hear how you feel that stacks up against how the Yankees are doing things.
I don't think there's any argument here in this category. The Yankees have the clear edge. They have a ready-made bullpen right now, months before the season even starts. Their closer, they have a closer in Clay Holmes. He has all the tools to do the job except consistency, which very well could come with more reps. They have the fireman role, which is the guy who you go to in a jam late in a close game. The fireman / setup role, I kind of look at those two roles as kind of one and the same. From the right side, they got Jonathan Loaisiga, who I think has the best stuff of any pitchers on the Yankees team. And from the left-handed side, they got Wandy Peralta, who was probably the Yankees' best pitcher in the playoffs this year. All of them including Cole. In the middle relief, they got Michael King, who can give you 1 or 2 quality innings virtually every time out. He can also pitch in long relief, and he can spot start. Losing him was a huge loss for them late in the season. Lucas Lecky's a quality lefty specialist. Ron Marinaccio looked great in stretches this year. Scott, now we're getting to the back of the bullpen, but Scott Efros is a 10.1 career strikeouts per 9 innings ratio. He's got a 5.0 career strikeouts per walk ratio. Clark Schmidt's whatever, but I mean, now you're talking about the very last guy in the bullpen. The Yankees' biggest addition since the end of the season was subtracting Aroldis Chapman and all the crap that comes with having him on your roster. Everyone in that bullpen has the potential to be as good in their role as anybody in the league. Then you look at the Red Sox and they're all full of holes. Tanner Houck, I guess, is the closer. The best closer on the team is going to be a starting pitcher, Garrett Whitlock. But, that boat has sailed, it looks like. So Tanner Houck looks like is going to be the closer in 2023, which is really, in my eyes, is going to be an audition year for him as a closer. He was 6 for 6 in save opportunities. He didn't blow a save, but he has a bad back. He just had back surgery. That's serious business. And I'm unsure of how his fastball slider heavy mix is going to play to left-handed hitters. The fireman / primary setup guy, they got that lockdown. John Schreiber can be as good as anyone in the league in that role. But that's it as far as established quality goals. From the left, on left-handed pitchers, they just got their only guy, Joely Rodriguez. He had a good half year with the Yankees in the American League East, but that was like 21 appearances, and he walks too many guys. He feels very much like another Jake Diekman kind of guy, which doesn't bode well at all if that's the case. They definitely need another left-handed pitcher. I hope they bring back Matt Strom if he's past his delusions of grandeur, wanting to be a starting pitcher out of nowhere, or I hope they grab Andrew Chafin, but those guys are not on the team right now. I don't think we'll ever see Josh Taylor again, at least not in Boston, and Darwinson Hernandez should be bagging groceries. Then you get to the middle relief. Matt Barnes cannot be trusted. I don't want to see him after the 6th inning ever in a competitive game again. Even if he goes on a good stretch, he'll tank again before long. Some physically talented pitchers just aren't mentally wired for success in the major leagues. So this year, we'll see a lot of fringe minor leaguers in the middle relief role. Caleb Ort, Frank German, Zach Kelly, Brian Mata, maybe Chris Murphy, a left-handed pitcher, will get an audition there. Ryan Brazier is still on the team, but he doesn't do anything well, so who cares? And I think Cutter Crawford and Josh Winkowski will start 2023 in the bullpen for middle relief, long relief, and a spot start when injuries hit the rotation. And we all know injuries will hit this rotation. So like I said, huge edge to the Yankees. But bullpens and relief pitching are so up and down and hard to call and such a crapshoot. This whole analysis could end up being completely backwards from reality in 2023. So we have to wait and see. But on paper, I mean, come on, it's the Yankees by far.
John, is this one of the rare times where you agree with Luke?
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often, but me and Luke I really agreed with a lot of Luke's points there. I mean,
I take it all back.
Look, the Yankees are really good, and Brian Cashman's done a good job of developing bullpen arms. That's the one place where I really do have to give him credit. It's a factory. So when guys do get hurt, you bring up someone from the minors you've never heard of, and he'll have a fastball and like a slider or a curveball or a changeup, just that secondary pitch. And the Yankees could really slide guys in those spots. Luke nailed it, saying the Yankees are actually better having removed Aroldis Chapman from the bullpen. You get rid of Chapman, I don't care who you put in that spot, he's going to be better than Chapman. And lastly, like Luke said, up and down. All bullpens are up and down season to season. So those middle relief guys that you're going to be seeing out of the minor leagues, out of Boston, who knows what those guys can do out of the bullpen. So this year could end up being both teams could have absolutely stacked bullpens, or it could be the Yankees, or at least you would expect them to be at least good. The Red Sox could tank. So yeah, I would definitely agree with where Luke puts the pendulum on this one.
Eric, I'm coming to you next. We've been talking a little bit recently about the farm system, and that's our next category here. Who are some of the guys for each team that are going to make an impact in the near future? How are these farm systems built? How do they stack up against each other? Who are you giving the edge here?
Before I get into who I'm giving the edge to, I want to just kind of compare the two real quick, because both systems are led by an elite prospect that is a shortstop. Yankees have Anthony Volpe, Red Sox have Marcelo Meyer. Volpe, he is number 5 prospect in baseball based on MLB Pipeline. Meyer's number 7. Obviously, Volpe's a little closer to the big leagues than Meyer. But those two are kind of the lead guys in the system. When it comes to top end talent, they're close. Tristan Casas is still considered a prospect. Won't be for much longer into the 2023 season. But since he's still considered a prospect, I would give the Red Sox the slightest edge on top end talent. I do love I love Jason Dominguez for the Yankees. Love him a lot. One of my favorite prospects in the big leagues, just tool wise. I still don't think he's put it all together. I think he has some of the best potential in all of the minor leagues. He just has to put it together. Also Peraza, the Yankees have another probably top 50-ish prospect. The Red Sox have some guys too that I think MLB Pipeline undervalues. Moving on to the depth of the system, though, I think this is really where the Red Sox get an edge on the Yankees, because the Yankees traded away a lot of their lesser prospects. The Yankees traded that mid-tier prospects, traded a decent amount of those guys at the trade deadline, getting a guy like a Frankie Montas, for example, whereas the Red Sox added to that part of their farm system. The Red Sox part of that farm system was already pretty deep, and they're only adding to it. Obviously, drafts help a lot. Red Sox have had a higher draft pick than the Yankees recently because they haven't done as well in the regular season. The Red Sox are going to have a higher draft pick again this year. They have a chance at a lottery pick. So farm system overall, Red Sox get a bit more than a slight edge, just because of the depth of the system. I'm super high on a guy like Miguel Bleis. I think he'll be easily top 50 prospect by the end of next season. Nick York, I think, will have a bounce back year. I'm super high on San Rafaela, my favorite prospect in the system for a while now. So for me, pretty decent sized edge to the Red Sox. But part of that too is because the Yankees have moved those guys to move some of those prospects to bring in MLB talent, whereas the Red Sox have been building that farm system.
John, I'll let you give us the Yankee perspective on this one and wrap it up.
Honestly, as much as I want to believe in the Yankees farm system, they have never really given me a reason to believe in the Yankees farm system. I've heard of so many hyped up prospects like Drew Henson, one of the 3 or 4 times he played baseball in between football. I remember Nick Johnson was going to be this legendary left-handed hitter. Same with Greg Bird. Clint Frazier had the legendary bat speed. And I am still waiting for Brian Taylor to throw a pitch in the major leagues. The Yankees have never really been able to develop their prospects, and the best thing they could do is trade them away and let some other team let them get exposed. So, I mean, let's be honest, the pendulum is really going to be the Yankees' favor when it comes to the farm system.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to wrapping this up, and we're going to go around the round table quickly, and each guy's going to get an opportunity to speak on where they think we're going to set this pendulum. Now, for those listening to the show so far, and those following along with, I don't know, the last 9 months of baseball, might feel like it's an obvious decision to them, right? But we want to weigh a lot of different things here. Like we said, not only how does the team look, but we also want to talk about the recent past, the near future, long term. That's why I want to talk about the farm system. And so, although the Yankees ran away with the division this year and the Red Sox finished in last place, right? That is not the sole thing that is determining where we're going to put this, right? We talked about Aaron Judge not being on the team anymore as of right now. We talked about Xander Bogaerts not being on the team anymore as of right now, right? Obviously the Red Sox have the history of knocking out the Yankees in the playoffs in the year before, right? Baseball's a fickle sport, and things change year to year. Things change day by day. And so we are not just taking 2022 into account here. We're taking it all into account. With that being said, we're going to go in the same order that we went before to make it nice and easy. And I'm going to give each guy 30 seconds, wrap it up, and tell me which direction you think the pendulum is swinging and how much of a swing is that. Is it heavily in that team's direction? Is it just one click or two? I want you to let me know. John, I'll start with you.
As of right now, I think the pendulum is a click in the Yankees' favor. I think the Yankees, even without Aaron Judge, have a slightly better team than the Red Sox. That all being said, I don't expect these teams to finish 4th and 5th in the American League East this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. So, but if that did happen, the Yankees are the 4th place team. Therefore, pendulum a click in the Yankees' favor.
Handsome.
I think the Yankees are in favor big time. As for finishing 4th, 5th place, no, I don't see it. I think the Yankees are going to go out big. I don't think they're playing around. I think it's going to be a big swing in their favor. I think they're all in, and they're going with the young guys out of the minor league system. But I think it's a big swing in their way, in their favor, and you're going to see more, probably division title, more wins to come this coming year.
Doug?
Yeah, I'm with Cassim on that. It's heavy into the Yankees' favor. My issue is the Yankees have most of their team already. They just need to re-sign Judge and they'll be good to go. Easily 1st or 2nd. Easily. And I see the Red Sox finishing 5th again. I honestly think, is this the call your shot portion, right? This is where we're at? Or,
no.
Oh, okay. I'll save that for later. Heavy Yankee favor.
Okay. Barnes.
It's a Yankee side for me here. I mean, you even said it, we're trying to not only take in 2022, we're also looking at the couple seasons prior. So from 2019 through 2022, obviously you're like, 2020 doesn't count, as Luke says all the time, but they still played division games against each other. If you total all their actual rivalry games, the Yankees have won 45 and the Red Sox have won 23. You do the math. You tell me where it is. It's Yankees.
Luke?
I can do simple math 1-0 as far as World Series championships in recent history. But look, Chaim Bloom's got a lot of work to do to get this team ready to compete in the brutal American League East. And all the offseason talk about the Red Sox has been about re-signing Bogaerts and Devers. guys that they already had in 2022. So the Yankees are in the driver's seat despite getting smoked in the ALCS by the Astros again, because the Red Sox feel so far from being fully assembled. It feels like there's so much work to do still. So in summation, the pendulum's got to be in the Yankees' favor.
Derek? You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I realize that. It's slightly
Okay.
Yankees, but I don't think it's like massively like Yankees' favor. Because even go recent in 2021, Red Sox did beat the Yankees in the wild card game. Yankees obviously much better than Red Sox in 2022. Like I said, Red Sox slight edge in the prospects that brings it a little bit towards the center, a little bit more. But it's still a slight edge, Yankees. But who knows? A year and a half from now, we could be saying the Red Sox have the top farm system in baseball and are a year away from winning World Series. We don't know. But that's what makes us fun, because last year we might have said lean the Red Sox favor. Now all of us have said it's in the Yankees' favor.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to give it Yankees. I'm going to give it slight swing towards the Yankees. And I'm doing slight for all of the opposite reasons that Doug went all the way, which is, yes, this Yankees team is largely coming back next year. However, they're missing one giant piece as of this moment. And also that's a team that is not a whole lot without that piece, and also wasn't even a whole lot with that piece in the playoffs this year. And I don't want to just say exactly what Luke said, which is it's World Series or bust, it's playoff or bust, right? The rivalry is about more than that. Some of our favorite games, happen in May, but I think the Yankees, the way that they're built right now, a lot of guys coming back might be a little limiting, although those guys can be really successful. We know what that team's going to look like in the near future, and some high highs in terms of regular season, but not a ton in the playoffs in the recent past. So, Luke, I'm going to throw it back over to you. Everybody's had a chance to speak. I want you to kind of unveil the pendulum. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see it right now. If you're listening to this, watch it on YouTube later. Give it a second listen. Give us a like, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you get the idea. Luke, head over to you.
Well, it's time. The crew has spoken. Our analytics team has been hard at work behind the scenes, tabulating the information, adjusting their algorithms based on our opinions. So let's feast our eyes for the first time on the Bleacher Brawls Pendulum. Where does the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry stand? Voila. Here it is. The slight edge going to the Yankees following their surprising dominance of the American League East in 2022 on the back of being whooped and eliminated by the Red Sox in the 2021 AL wildcard game. If Aaron Judge stays in New York and the Red Sox lose Xander Bogaerts without adding any big run producers, I could see the pendulum swinging a whole lot further onto the Yankee side of the coin here before we do our next pendulum roundtable.
That next pendulum roundtable is going to take place at the beginning of the regular season. We're going to see how these things shake out in this offseason. We've got the winter meetings coming up, like we've talked about a ton during this discussion. Big free agents that each team wants to bring back. We're going to see how that goes. Big sought after guys. And then we're also going to see a little spring training ball. So with that in mind, that next unveiling is end of March, beginning of April. Here's the call your shot segment that you wanted, Doug. We're going to go around. I'm going to give each guy 10 seconds, one sentence. Where do you think it's going to be? The pendulum, that is. Where do you think it's going to be come our next check-in at the beginning of the 2023 season? Doug, since you're so excited, I will start with you.
It's going to be even farther Yankees at the beginning of next year. The Red Sox are going to trade Rafael Devers this offseason. They're going to rid themselves of any Dombrowski era signing except for Chris Sale, because can't trade him. Bogey's going to walk. And listen, the Red Sox have no guy that you would take your kid or whoever, cousin, whatever, to go buy a jersey for right now. There is no one. I'm not going and buying a Devers jersey right now until he is re-signed. That's it. I'm not buying any Red Sox jersey. You could buy 7 Yankees jerseys.
The doomsday clock analogy I used at the beginning is
gonna say
very
the same
apropos
thing.
for when Doug is talking
And Bloom
about the
gets
Red
fired next year.
And the
Okay.
pendulum swings in the Orioles' favor.
Exactly. Exactly. Thanks for your one sentence, Doug. Barnes, you're up next. Call your shot. Where do you think it's going to be come March?
I think it's also going to be Yankees side. Brian Cashman's going to assemble the Avengers. It just feels like the Yankees got smacked around by Thanos, which is the Astros. And all of a sudden, oh my God, Avengers assemble. There's the Hulk. You know, Cashman's bringing in the reinforcements. We're going Yankees here.
Okay, great. Derek, I'll go to you next. Call your shot. Where do you think it's going to be in March?
I don't think it's going to change at all, honestly. Even if Bogarts walks or whatever, or even somehow Devers gets traded, like the Red Sox are going to bring pieces back in a trade. I think I'm looking at this as a landscape, past, present, and future. I don't think it's going to change that much. I don't think it's going to change. But no, it's going to swing the way of the Diamondbacks next year because, you know, that's how we roll. But yeah.
Cass, we'll go to you next. What do you think it's going to be in March?
I think the Yankees are going to go, like I said, the Yankees are going to go all in. They're going to get back Judge. They're going to get back Benintendi. We got Bader in center. I don't know who's going to be their shortstop, but we'll see. We still got Donaldson. And like I said, I think they're going to trade for a pitcher. And that pitcher, I'm hoping it's Corbin Burns. And we'll kick off the season. We'll see where we go from there.
Great, John.
I think the Yankees re-sign Aaron Judge, swinging the pendulum more towards the Yankees' favor. And I expect Chaim Bloom to make a bunch of questionable decisions. Doug will want him fired, and Luke will defend him.
Luke, wrap us up.
I'm wondering which Avenger Josh Donaldson is. Look, when the season begins, the Yankees will still have the slight edge. Any big moves the Red Sox make in the offseason will have to be shown to be proven difference makers on the field before we can consider the Red Sox back on the Yankees level right now. So it's still going to be in the Yankees' favor. Not anymore in the Yankees' favor. It's still going to be in the same, slightly towards the Yankees.
I'm going to go with Derek on this one. I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be too earth-shattering. I think we're going to see a lot of these free agents that we've been talking about. I think we're going to see a lot of them return. And so if we're just talking about between now and March, not a couple of years from now, you know, not who's going to be in dynasty, all that kind of stuff. We're just talking about where we're going to be at the top of next season. I think it's going to look pretty similar just with some of these guys back on the team. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a great discussion. Our very first pendulum reveal for the state of the rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees. If you like this kind of stuff, Red Sox talk, Yankee stuff, maybe even a little Orioles talk, there are a bunch of places to find us. BleacherBrawls.com. Barnes alluded to earlier has all of our podcast episodes archived. It also has every column we've written. We do quizzes over there. We do prospect stuff. I talk about baseball movies. We do a bunch of fun stuff over on the website, over in good old fashioned print, except we don't print it. And then YouTube, of course. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube. Maybe you've been listening to it on the pod. But YouTube, run by our very own Derek, has a lot of great stuff. More Red Sox, more Yankees. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, you've rated it 5 stars. You've left us a nice review. Anywhere you find things, you can find Bleacher Brawls, most notably at Twitter, as long as that lasts, at Bleacher Brawl. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching, for the whole crew, minus Joey, because, of course, his flight got delayed, canceled, whatever it was. For the whole crew, minus Joey, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for leaving us a nice review, giving us a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. We will see you guys next time.
Hashtag beat Derek.
Josh Donaldson is Hawkeye because he's ass.
He's Hawkeye. He's Hawkeye.
He's ass.